Kia ora, Markie here with Earley's late ND reviews and a bad cough and a shaky camera. The shaky camera is kind of trademark, isn't it now? If I had a kind of a camera on a stand, it just wouldn't be the same really. So I am going to review, in the spirit of reviewing things years, after they've aired, I'm going to review Dexter up to series 6. I'm going to go right to the end of series 6. If you haven't watched up to the end of series 6, then please God don't watch this because you don't want spoilers. It's such a good series, isn't it? So I've got 2 more series to watch. If you comment, which would be great, please don't give me any spoilers because I've got 2 more series to watch, and I'm probably going to savour them. So I probably won't watch them straight away. I've got a little bit more Falling Skies, well, quite a lot more Falling Skies to watch. So, and then I might go back to Walking Dead and a few of the other things that I'm watching bit by bit. Years behind the event, and so so don't tell me anything past series 6. So I'm going to kind of do an all-over review, if you like, of Dexter, and that just brings it up to series 6. So it's not a series 6, purely a series 6 review. It's a review that goes all the way up. Okay, so so the usual caveat for this series is that the reason they're called ND reviews, well, the reason they're called Early reviews is 'cause that's my name. My full name is Mark Lindsay Earley, and the reason they're called ND reviews, that's neurodiverse reviews, is that I'm probably the worst person to be doing reviews because I have because of the neurodiverse conditions that I suffer with. And if you don't know what neurodiversity is, see the other videos. I tend not to follow stories very well. I tend not to remember a lot, and particularly characters. I forget the names of nearly all characters. So, but I kind of think I've got something interesting to say about these things. There's another YouTube channel called Council of Geeks, and hosted by Nathaniel, and Nathaniel kind of comes to a lot of the same conclusions as me, but kind of puts them a whole lot more eloquently. But I don't think he's done a review of Dexter, unfortunately. Otherwise, you could just watch that. So, Dexter. I'm going to read the novel as well. I've ordered the novel on online. Darkly Dreaming Dexter. So what do I think about Dexter? I think Dexter is one of the best produced and most intelligent programs that I've watched. So I've got a lot of good things to say about it. I do have some crits, but not many really. And yeah, so series 6 feels like I've come a long way with Dexter. Lots of character development and plot development. What's really good, what they say is that some programs are plot driven and some are character driven, and this kind of seems to be a mixture of both, really. There's really good characters in this series. So yeah, let's go straight into the crits maybe. One of the things that I have a difficulty with, which I think is kind of unfortunate, is that they've kind of set up the series for eccentric and super serial killer of the series. We started with the ice truck killer, and then so I don't know that every series had a super duper arch kind of nemesis kind of serial killer, but quite a few have, and I think that maybe was a bit of a mistake, because I think you can do that sometimes. I think the trouble with series is they go too far. I think Doctor Who, see my video on Doctor Who. Doctor Who has been really badly guilty of this. Is that a lot of the series of the plot lines in Doctor Who have been they're going to destroy the universe. We must save the universe. And I think you can do that now and then, but actually, once you save the universe a few times, it becomes a bit kind of boring. And also, why save the universe? The universe is going to be destroyed. Perhaps it's just me and my nihilism, but if the universe is going to be destroyed, doesn't that kind of destroy all pain and misery and liberate everyone from. Not that I'm intending to destroy the universe. I'm not an arch supervillain, although I might look like one with my new kind of facial furniture. So I think Dexter has gone, has made a bit of a rod for its own back by creating this kind of super duper serial killer. So we have the Trinity killer, we have the ice truck killer, and though it's all been done really well. So how far can you take it? And also, I don't think you need it. I think the series, the characters are so good that you can kind of go small. I mean, I would find it entertaining just to probably watch Dexter kind of, I don't know, go for a meal or go water ski. Just do normal stuff because it's a great character. And the interaction between the characters, just in the normal kind of office politics and all those, the interactions with Deb and all that kind of thing. I could watch Dexter do almost anything, really. So the other criticism I have, like I say, I'm kind of focusing on the criticism because I think it's so good. Really, it's almost like the good stuff doesn't need saying. But excuse me. I've got a drink of water. The killing, okay. So Dexter is compelled, he's got a compulsion to kill, but you wouldn't really know it. I'm not sure that that's really expressed properly. It kind of comes across a bit more like it's just a kind of hobby, really. So when he makes the kill, he's not looking kind of orgasmic. Or enraptured as one might kind of expect for somebody that's so driven that they have to kill. And when he's not killing, he doesn't kind of he doesn't look like he's in having kind of withdrawal symptoms from killing. And I think there's pretty good reasons why they don't portray that, because they want to make him a likable character. But for me, it kind of makes it seem like his drive to kill is not that serious, really. It's like just something that he likes to do. So I think, and that's a difficult one. You play that too far towards kind of if he's nobody's going to like the character. Yeah. So that's a kind of an interesting one. The theme music's interesting. The opening sequence, I should say, is kind of interesting. It kind of, because I watch these, I'm not a serial killer, but a serial Dexter watcher, and I watch one after the other. Often it kind of drives me a bit nuts. But it's quite fascinating. I don't know if you've ever kind of properly watched it, but it's kind of lots of kind of, humorous, kind of embedded kind of motifs for different ways of murdering people. So there's kind of suffocation and strangulation and, being sawn up and blood and being scored with a knife and being mashed, and it's kind of it'd be interesting to see how many you can count. Let's do a competition. How many different methods of murder are portrayed in his kind of morning ablution and breakfast scene? And then when he kind of finishes all that, there's this sort of ding, as if it reminds me of the old kind of hackneyed thing they used to use in comedy, that somebody would smile and then the sun would glint on their teeth and it would go ding. It was kind of like that, really, which kind of sets the scene. Really, it's kind of slightly sinister, but also kind of quite humorous and also everyday. So it's mixing up the dark kind of with the humdrum, if you like, which is kind of what the series is about, really. So characters, Deb's such a brilliant character, isn't she? His sister. I just love her just complete lack of emotional regulation. She's just completely kind of congruent in the moment with whatever her emotion is. I kind of wasn't entirely comfortable with her being made lieutenant, and I can see what that was all about and what the politics of that were all about. I wonder what will happen in the next series. I wonder if she'll lose that or maintain it. Interesting to see LaGuerta's character develop, because we've kind of had nasty LaGuerta, nice LaGuerta, nasty LaGuerta, nice LaGuerta, and kind of you're thinking, where is she here? And we're seeing kind of a more kind of psychopathic kind of side to her, Kind of a nice psychopath, I guess. Psychopath with a soft side. Psychopath you like is kind of Laquerta. And what's happening with the sexual attraction thing with Deb and Dexter? That's really brave. It's really brave to go down that route. And God, isn't that like Wuthering Heights? It's like so in Wuthering Heights, which I've not read for a long time. So the parents bring home this kind of this homeless boy that they find, who's got this kind of slightly unfair really, but kind of monstrous kind of reputation because he's of a different race, isn't he? I think he's like a gypsy or Romani, or come from some kind of different kind of culture. I think he's slightly kind of darker skinned and dark eyed, and so there's a kind of a sense that he's a bit different, he's a bit scary, he could be monstrous. So yeah, Heathcliff and Kathy, which is kind of interesting. How did Cliff Richard ever get to play? I never saw it, but I just can't see Cliff Richard as Heathcliff. Really, is the last person I would imagine as Heathcliff. So what else can I say? Really, everything else I think is good. I love. One of my favourite characters actually is Masuka. And you kind of not, I don't know, are we supposed to be warming to him? Because he was kind of set up as this kind of, obnoxious character, but I love him to bits. Vince Masuka, he's just, he's lovely, I want to cuddle him. Maybe that's, the Aspie side of me, because he's quite an Aspie character. There's this kind of, the geek Aspie kind of lab thing going on. And that's the other interesting thing. I think one of the reasons why I like Dexter is that, although, I'm not a serial killer, nor do I kind of have aspirations in that direction. But I think, when you're neurodiverse and you feel different, you can understand that awkwardness in Dexter, and particularly in the early, so his character develops a lot. He falls a lot, and he becomes much more comfortable in his own skin. But to begin with, when he in the early series when he's with Rita, that's the first sex he's had. And he's quite a mature man. I'm not sure what the age of the character's supposed to be. And you see the kind of flashbacks to childhood when a girl that likes him wants to invite him to the prom, and he's just kind of really rude to her and really kind of awkward and stuff like that. So that's really good. I think the kind of flashbacks with Harry are okay. I think they're done quite well. We're not supposed to, certainly I don't think we're supposed to think that Dexter's psychotic in any way. It's just really a self-talk, but kind of presented in a stylized way. And of course, Harry's son. He's named his son after his dad. I got at the end of series 6, I'm thinking, no, you can't, we can't have Harrison die. That would just be too much. I don't think I'd ever watch it again if Harrison died at the end of that. The other thing at the end of series 6, I know this is all jumbled, but then it usually is kind of on the ethical side, the code and stuff. One thing that was not addressed at all, and I think is bad really, is that Travis, interesting name, isn't it? They use quite, they blatantly use names with meanings, don't they? And so I was like, was it Lumin? Which is all to do with light in one of the previous series. So Travis, travesty, I guess travesty of religion or travesty of faith. Did he deserve to be murdered? Because, actually he wasn't bad, he was mad. He was somebody that was mentally ill and somebody that, I think had stopped taking the treatment. But actually, I was thinking, well, especially coming from my kind of mental health background, I'm thinking, well, this guy needs treatment. He doesn't need punishment. He's killing people because of delusions. Yeah, and what a character, the painting and the intricacy of the deaths and that kind of thing. I must admit, I found it quite hard. I could believe it when we believed that, I can't remember the name of the older guy that turned out to be dead and just to be an ongoing delusion or an ongoing hallucination of Travis's, to the university, the professor. I love the look of his face. I love the cardigan. I totally bought him being this kind of polymath that could be, you know, this professor and also this amazing artist. And but I couldn't really entirely buy Travis being that clever. And you know, and that kind of talented really. So in terms of the art and all the rest of it. What else to say about Dexter? Okay, so we've got some subplots bubbling away that haven't been resolved, haven't we? So we've got the new intern who I thought for 1 minute, you know, was wanted to be a cop. But no, looks like he wants to be a serial killer. So is he being set up as the next arch super serial killer? I kind of hope not, really, because I'm not sure I like that plot line. And the Quinn plot line, where is that going? That's been such a slow burner, hasn't it? Because remember, you know, back along he was being investigated, and Deborah was being kind of constantly pestered by the investigating officer to kind of so she'd spill the beans on Quinn and find out what the deal was with him. Because yeah, he's a very odd one, isn't he? What is his motivation? I really don't get Quinn as a character, and that's probably okay because I think we're not supposed to. That's supposed to evolve. So I look forward to that because yeah, he took that money, didn't he? That was one thing. But yeah, fascinating. So I'm looking forward to. Well, I'm kind of not looking forward because there's only 2 more series left, and I know it all ends. So I'm kind of, I don't know, I kind of want to watch them, and I don't want to watch them. It's kind of really. I wish Dexter would live forever. Really. Angel, oh, brilliant character. Love Angel. Yeah, fantastic. I love the fact that he's kind of, you know, Hispanic and can't pronounce his R's. I've never actually come across somebody Hispanic who can't pronounce the letter R, and I wonder if that's the actor. Or I wonder if that's a kind of an affectation that's been written into it. But that does give him a very unique kind of character. There's lots of people that can't pronounce their R's, but all the ones that that I know are British, or American. They're kind of English speakers. English is first language. I've not really come across that kind of speech impediment or that pattern of speech in anybody else. Maybe it's just I haven't come across it, but yeah, I like Angel. I felt for him not becoming lieutenant. That's sad, isn't it? Really, and that's kind of why I'm kind of hoping that in the next series, Deb hands in a notice and goes back to being a detective, and or maybe she goes back to being sergeant. That would kind of work. She'd be a good sergeant. She wouldn't have so much paperwork. She'd be out in the field, and probably a lot happier with Angel being lieutenant. I nearly said lieutenant then. If you're confused, the British version is lieutenant and the American version is lieutenant. Okay, so if you're talking to anyone in the British military, never say lieutenant because it's lieutenant in that respect. So there's probably things I've missed. Harrison's lovely, isn't he? Such a cute kid. Really sort of nicely portrayed. There's a bit of a strange thing going on with Angel's sister as well, isn't there? There's a kind of some kind of another unresolved subplot going on there. So I wonder what's happening there. And Matthews, eh? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, cause he's a little bit psychopathic as well, isn't he? Or certainly ruthless. He's a kind of avuncular, but also quite ruthless. So him and kind of LaGuerta kind of maybe deserve one another to some extent. But yeah, I think Dex was a bit out of order, really, killing Travis. Maybe that's the travesty. Because somebody, it's not as, he kind of said at the end in the kind of, the epic scene when he's wrapped up in the cling film. You used God as an excuse to kill people. Well, I don't think he did. I think he was genuinely psychotic. Didn't know what he was doing. So all in all, I'll still probably give it 10 out of 10 or 9.9 out of 10, even with the crits. Fantastic series, great humour, great everything. Really great plots, great characters. Can't really praise Dexter highly enough. So I hope you've enjoyed this. So what I'll probably do, Let's see what happens. I mean, when I get to the end of Series 7, I might kind of be full of enthusiasm and immediately want to do a review, or I might wait until the end of the series and do a review then. We'll see. Or I might not do any more Dexter reviews at all, really. Let me know what you thought of this one. Thank you for watching. Remember, the channel covers a whole wide range of things, and if you just have a particular interest, if you're just interested in these reviews, go to the playlist and then you can just get straight into those, because there's a lot of stuff on things like retroactive jealousy, which may not be of interest to you. A lot of other stuff on autism and neurodiversity may not be of interest to you, so I put everything into little playlists, so hopefully you can just get into what you want without having to kind of wade through kind of various miscellanea. So, Rangimarie.